Welcome back to a chapter day. Happy Sabbath. I pray that you are taking the rest that God gave us. And today we'll be reading Job chapter 30. Yesterday in chapter 29, we found Job still, of course, lamenting his situation and going back in time when things were good. And he's talking about in months past. So what he's going through is just like it seems to be months so far from what up to where we've read, when the Almighty was yet with him. This is what he's saying. Because, you know, when things go bad, we say God has forsaken us. There's no way God can be with us, and we're going through such tough times. He talked about how people treated him and how he dealt with people, how he delivered the poor, the fatherless, anyone who came to him for help, he helped them. The lame, the blind, you know. So Job is giving his account of himself in this chapter 29. So let's see what is going on in chapter 30. I believe he is still talking. Okay, so here goes. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes, and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. So Job is talking about these people now who are laughing at him, the younger men whose fathers he would not have even had among his dogs. Oh my gosh. So people of really lowly state who would have, you know, been more respectful to him had he, you know, in his earlier times than now, mocking him, you know, because he's in a bad way. And that's what people do. They wait for you when you're down and kick you even further. That's when you know who really was for you in the first place. Verse 6, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now am I their song, yea, I am their byword. They abhor me, they flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face mercy. I tell you, people can only get you when you're down to their level, on the ground. Yeah, when you're on the ground, oh yeah, everyone can kick and slap and spit and snare and laugh and mock. But when you rise up, that's when they have to face you. They cannot even rise as tall as you are when you're up. So that's why they can only get you when you're down, because then you're on their level, low. So that's what Job is talking about. Verse 11, because he hath loosed my cord and afflicted me, they have also let loose the bridle before me. Upon my right hand rise the youth, they push away my feet, and they raise up against me the ways of their destruction. They mar my path, they set forward my calamity, they have no helper. They came upon me as a wide breaking in of waters. In the desolation they roll themselves upon me. Terrors are turned upon me. They pursue my soul as the wind, and my welfare passeth away as a cloud. And now my soul is poured out upon me. The days of affliction have taken hold upon me. My bones are pierced in me in the night season, and my sinews take no rest. By the great force of my disease is my garment changed. It bindeth me about as the color of my coat. He hath cast me into the mire, and I am become like dust and ashes. I cry unto thee, and thou dost not hear me. I stand up and thou regardest me not. Isn't that how we feel sometimes? Like when we are crying unto God and God just doesn't seem to hear. Job is going through this. We've all had our Job moments, okay? Verse 21, thou art become cruel to me. With thy strong hand thou opposest thyself against me. Thou liftest me up to the wind. Thou causest me to ride upon it, and dissolvest my substance. For I know that thou wilt bring me to death, and to the house appointed for all living. Howbeit he will not stretch out his hand to the grave, though they cry in his destruction. Did not I weep for him that was in trouble? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? So again, Job is making reference to how God is relating to him, or it's how it seems that God is treating him. And he's asking again, didn't I help the poor? Didn't I do good? Why is this happening to me? Verse 26. When I looked for good, then evil came unto me. And when I waited for light, there came darkness. My bowels boiled and rested not. The days of affliction prevented me. I went mourning without the sun. I stood up and I cried in the congregation. I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. My harp also is turned to mourning, and my organ into the voice of them that weep. My gosh. I am wondering if Job has been living in the wilderness or something. Maybe it's because he was pushed away from his home. I don't know. In his condition, if he was allowed to remain in his home, what exactly happened. But the way he's speaking here, it seems like people, he's like a vagrant outside, and people who see him, kick him and spit at him as though he's living on the streets. It sounds like that's how it's happening to him. Or maybe when he walks the streets or he goes out, people treat him really badly. And something, it's a bad thing for us to treat someone badly, but when they're in a bad way. Is that when you kick a man when he's down, when he's sick, when he's loathsome? Is that when we, especially, you know what? People envy you. People envy you when you are in a position that seems to be way above them, and they envy you, and that envy leads to hate. And then when you, God forbid, your feet slip, okay, in Job's case, Satan is having his turn at Job, because God has described Job as upright and in favorable standing with God. But little do they know, God is in control of exactly what's happening with Job. Satan cannot do him anything more than God has allowed. And we need to remember this. Job is our situations. Many times we all, whether it's physically, emotionally, spiritually, we find ourselves in a Job situation, and we need to remember this. God is still in control. Thank you all for listening. That was Job chapter 30. Again, we will continue reading. Until then, keep on listening, because that's how our faith will come and grow. Take care. Bye.